Hello everyone, good evening. Am I audible?
Good evening, ma'am.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
you are audible.
Yeah. So today we'll be discussing week 4 concepts, okay? How many of you have gone through the lectures? Okay. Others? Okay. Yeah. Let me share my screen. Okay. So in week 4, what we have is first we will see what is abstract class and then interface, then private inner class. After that, we have controlled interaction with objects. Then we have iterators, yeah, callback and iterators. We'll try to complete first three topics, okay, and we'll take doubts. So first of all, I'll take you through the syntax of abstract class, and then I'll come back to the concept. Okay, let's do like this. So consider this example. Okay, here you can see this abstract class shape. Yeah. So usually to define a regular class, we use keyword class and then the name of the class. And what we will have, we'll add some instance variables and methods, constructor, etc. And in this particular class, you can see a specialty that there is another keyword before class which is abstract. Okay. And here you can see a method void draw and which is preceded by a keyword abstract again. So this method is an abstract method. And can you see any specialty here? We have not
Yeah.
given, yeah, we have not given any implementation, right? We just entered it with a semicolon. So this type of method is called as abstract methods. Abstract methods. Methods that doesn't have a body. Methods without a body or implementation. This is our abstract method. So, shall I try removing this abstract here? Now you see, I get an error. The abstract method in type shape can only be defined by an abstract class. So if you have any method that is not implemented, then you have to put that abstract method or make that class which has that abstract method as abstract class. Got it? So
Why
that
do we
is,
do this?
yeah, I'll come to that. First, I'll go to the syntax and I'll come to why we are doing this. Okay. Now, so abstract methods are methods that doesn't have a body or implementation, and we put these abstract methods inside an abstract class. Now, what other things that are supported by an abstract class? All other things that is supported by a regular class can be put inside an abstract class. We can have variables like this. We can have normal regular methods like public void print, something with implementation. Okay, we can have with implementation. And what else? Yeah, mainly these things. And you can also have constructor inside abstract class. Okay, so now let me remove this part. Just remember that you can have normal instance variables and methods and constructor in the abstract class. Now you see, uh, here we have class circle, a normal class circle, and this class extends our class shape. So this is a class. So here it extends our class shape inheritance. the property of inheritance. By that, then this class circle can get access to this draw method, right? And this draw method in abstract class shape doesn't have an implementation, but whoever or whichever subclasses that extends this abstract class shape must give an implementation for the abstract method that comes from the abstract class. So what happened? So we had class shape, we had an abstract method without any implementation, and some classes like circle try to inherit that abstract class shape, and when it inherit this abstract class shape, whichever abstract methods that is present in the abstract class shape must be implemented by the child class. Okay. What if we do not override here or give implementation here?
It will cause an error.
Yeah. Here it will give an error saying that type circle must implement the inherited abstract method shape.throw. So
Question. Suppose we don't write the implementation detail, just the method definition, like public void draw and empty. So can we do that? Means remove that implementation part.
yeah. If you do like this again empty, then again you
No,
have
no.
to make this. Okay, you want something like this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this is fine. Yeah.
But why then this works?
Then it
It's
won't,
like
if
we
you
have not defined
invoke,
it.
yeah, if you invoke, it won't print anything or nothing will happen, but syntactically allowed.
So this will be the default value, right? It will override the original
Yeah,
one.
yeah. So we have to give implementation for the abstract method that we get from the abstract class. And again, this is class circles. Class circle gave its own implementation for the draw method, drawing a circle. Now, we have another child class, square. Again, why it is called as child class? Because square extends our main abstract class shape. And here again, it is giving an implementation for the draw method, right? So here it is giving implementation according to square, how square wants its draw method. And again, here we have rectangle. So rectangle is giving an implementation for draw method on how it wants the draw method here. So all these subclasses that extends our class shape is giving implementation for the abstract method draw that we got from class shape, right? And it is like a must. So when you extend abstract class, whatever the abstract method that you get from the parent class or the abstract class, you must implement those methods. So we are actually forcing the programmer or the developer to give implementation for the abstract methods. So we can say that this particular class shape is now acting like a blueprint or a template for another classes. Before you use it to say class itself is a blueprint, right? And objects are the real world entities. And here we can say the abstract class is serving like a template for other classes on how or some particular methods should be implemented, must be implemented by the subclasses. Are you getting it?
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
So it is like template for other classes.
Yes, we can consider it as a template for other classes. So basically, we are grouping together multiple subclasses under a common behavior.
Ma'am, all the methods under this abstract class should be overridden, or just the methods which are defined with abstract?
Only the abstract methods.
Okay.
Yeah. So here, now other things to remember is syntactically, we cannot create object of class shape. Okay, abstract class cannot create objects of abstract class. Okay, and but we can use or we can create a reference variable of abstract class. Okay, so here you see this is our main method, this is our example one class. Here shape c1 equal to new circle. We are creating object of circle and the reference variable is of type shape. We can do that, right? Because this is parent class. We cannot create object of shape. New shape is not possible. But we can create reference variable of type shape and we can assign the child class object. And then we can normally call the method row. Getting it?
Yeah, ma'am. And so we can also give reference variable as I mean reference type as the child class.
Yeah, that is fine.
Okay.
Yeah, we can simply do normally we can do circle c2 equal to new circle, and this is also allowed. Why this is helpful for us? Maybe we can create an array of shape, some shape array, and in shape array, some if it has some three elements, if the size is three, we can have one first element as circle object, second one as square, third one as rectangle, and then we can use a for loop to loop through the array and call the draw method. So according to, because of the dynamic dispatch, it will call the draw method of the particular object. So it will support that. Getting it?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. Now let's see. Let's go through these slides just to relate with the lectures. Okay, same thing in a different manner. So here it started with how why we are grouping together classes and in this manner. So sometimes we collect together classes under a common heading, just like how we did for abstract class shape. So these classes, circle, square, and rectangle are all shapes. Then what we did, we can create a class shape so that circle, square, and rectangle extend shape. A normal class, okay? And here you see, we want to force every shape to define a function. Every shape. We want to force it. Anyway, you have to define this particular method. So if you simply do the inheritance, just have a parent class and these as a child class. So there we give a, you can say it's free. Either you can override the method or you cannot, you just leave it as it is, right? We are not forcing when we have normal inheritance. So this rely on the subclass to redefine this function. What if this doesn't happen should not depend on programmer discipline. So we don't want to depend on the programmer discipline. Rather, we want the programmer to give a new definition for the method. That's
Ma'am,
where
subclass
comes
in the
abstract
sense?
class. Yeah,
Ma'am, subclass in the sense?
subclass means child class.
Okay.
Yeah. So better solution is our abstract class. Now we saw that we will define an abstract definition in class shape like this, and this will force every subclass to provide a concrete implementation. Concrete means while we give all those things inside the curly braces. Okay, and now cannot create objects from a class that has abstract function. We saw that we cannot create object of abstract class shape, and shape must itself be declared to be abstract. We saw that as well. If you remove the abstract keyword here, wait, yeah, here, then that will generate an error. Now, this is what we saw. So we can have a shape array, and we can have each of the elements as either one of the subclasses, circle, square, or rectangle. Then we can have a for loop, just go through it, call the method, and each shape array of I will call the appropriate method due to dynamic dispatch. Okay, is that fine till now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now, this is related to comparable. Similarly, So we can have something like an abstract class comparable. So suppose we want to compare two objects, okay? So based on something. So to check whether one is smaller than the other or equal to the other or greater than the other. So we can have an abstract class comparable, and this has an abstract method CMP, some comparable, that takes an object of comparable that supports comparable because any subclasses that extend this comparable class. And then this is the logic that we're going to use. So according to the type of the object, we'll change this. So we basically consider like this. So we will call something like this. Suppose we have A and B object. A dot compare and on B. Okay, A and B. So what is this there when we call A dot compare of B? If we refer this dot something, that will be A, right?
Yes,
Yes.
the object itself.
Then I
Object
have a
itself. Yeah.
question. I
Mm.
have a question. As you said earlier, abstract class. We cannot create an object of abstract class, right? But
Yeah.
now you are saying that we are going to create that. How means like I'm not understanding that part.
Sorry.
Earlier, you
Mm,
said that if we define as abstract class, we cannot create an object of it, right? We can't create an object of comparable
yeah.
directly. But here you are saying that it should be an object of comparable as so means I don't
So
understand that part.
yeah. So when I say we take object of comparable is, I meant some class that extends comparable interface. Then we can take here, right? Suppose in the case of
Okay.
shape itself, we take circle object here giving
Mhm.
to comparable reference variable. That is possible now.
Oh, that is possible.
So we can use like that. So this will actually make it generic. So any
Hmm.
subclass that extends this comparable can take this method, right?
Hmm.
So this function can be used for any subclasses.
Okay, so making it generic, that's why
Ah,
we are using. Since we don't know that whether it is being defined or not, but we are assuming that the programmer will later on define, which will extend the class to compare.
yeah, that class, that programmer will extend comparable and will give an implementation for this abstract method compare.
But later on, it says now we can sort any object of means like here again we are assuming that comparison has been comparable has been extended means like
Yeah,
some
yeah,
class extended the
right,
comparable.
right. So how we are comparing this? We are taking the current object this and will compare with the object that we passed. So if it is less than the passed object, then we will return -1. If it is equal, then it is 0. If it is greater than, then we'll return 1. So according to whichever classes that we want to implement this compare, we'll change the logic. And here, uh, just if you want to see the program, it's little bit okay. Just to go through it, just for understanding purpose, I'll tell you one thing. So basically, after abstract class, we'll discuss about interface. And originally, I mean, really, we have this comparable interface. So we actually implement this abstract method, and we do this comparison. So just for understanding purpose, you listen to this and leave it. Later we'll come to how we actually use the comparable interface and the compare method. Okay. So the code will be a little bit complex. Uh, this involves this quicksort and all. So just see it. So suppose we have abstract class comparable, and here we have this CMP method, compare method, abstract method. And here we have class my class that extends comparable interface, abstract class. And then normally it has a size instance variable, and this is the constructor. And this is the logic for our compare method. So it takes some object and checks whether it is actually an object of my class because our class is my class, and then typecasting back to my class because we took it through comparable, right? That's why. And then checking the size. According to the size it is comparing. If this dot size is less than other dot size, then return -1. Else if this dot size is equal to other dot size, comparing to my class objects, return 0. Otherwise, return 1. Okay.
Ma'am, I
If
have
it
a
is not,
question.
yeah,
Here S is there, right? S my class and then S, right?
yeah,
So we are converting S to my class
yeah, we are typecasting back to
uh,
my class.
just to access the size, right?
Right, right, right. Otherwise, we won't be able to access size.
Yes, 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 I understood.
Now, that is the logic for compare method. Now, here we have the sort function class. This is the program for quicksort. So, okay, just go through this. This we have quicksort method takes comparable array, and this is how we call the quicksort method here. And we have to actually, this is a little bit difficult. You can just Google how quicksort works. You will get animation, so you'll see how that works. So this is the code just for understanding. Take it as an abstraction. Now, anyway, what will this do? We are actually using that compare method, and using the compare method we'll do the sorting. So quicksort will use that particular comparable compare method, logic of compare, and will do the sorting of an array, or yeah, array. Suppose we have an array, my class array, with these values 3.5, 1.2, 4.7, 2.6, 0.9. So if we run this code, we'll get, before sorting we'll get this elements, and after sorting, so according to the logic here, it will go into ascending order, I guess. It'll get in sorted manner. So you just have to understand that we used our comparable interface. We gave implementation for the compare method inside our class my class, and used this particular logic of compare method to sort using the quicksort algorithm.
So we
Okay?
should know this.
No, no, I just leave it. Leave it. Okay, just for understanding. Now, don't make it complex. Today we'll keep it as simple. Okay. Did you get what we meant? The basic things?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am, that I got, but I didn't understood how it is working.
The quicksort part, huh?
No, ma'am. How, like, in the quicksort we didn't actually call the compare, right?
We are calling
So,
comparable of an array type.
Oh, okay. We are
Comparable array.
giving the input. Okay.
yeah. And here we
You
will
are
compare it.
converting, yes.
Okay.
You are
Okay.
just
Okay.
using the temp variable to change the values, right?
Yeah.
Much like we do in Python.
Okay. Got
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
ma'am.
yeah. Similar. If you know Python, if you have implemented this there, same only. Logic is same. Algorithm is same for quicksort.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Now, yeah. So that's about abstract class. What are the main things to remember? One thing is we cannot create object of abstract class. We can create reference variable of abstract class. Second thing is if we have an abstract method, make the class as abstract, otherwise you'll get error. And abstract class can have all other things. Okay, that's it. Now, comes the next one, interface. So interface is like abstract class only, but there are some differences, some more differences. Yeah. So we can say, I think Sir has mentioned somewhere, interface is like an abstract class itself. Earlier, it was completely, we call it as something like 100 percentage only abstract methods, but now it supports other methods as well. Anyway, let's see. So here we have interface shape. Just think it like a class itself, but this is interface. And the specialty of interface is, uh, by default, if you give any method like void test, now the method will be, we already have
There
tested.
is a
Oh,
duplicate
yeah.
method.
So, so if we give some method like a method in interface, by default this will be public and abstract. Okay, and here again, interface is used for the similar purpose of abstract class, where we use this interface as a blueprint for other classes to follow. Okay, and if you define a method like public abstract, that's also fine anyway. Now this is an abstract method. Now
That's
next,
the default, no? Means if we don't define, then by default it's public abstract, right?
yes,
Any method.
yeah. By default, it will be public and abstract.
So
Now,
means we don't need to give our method definition. It's like how we are going to implement it. Just write the name so that the programmer can know that later I have to define that, right?
right. Now, here, interface also support methods called as default methods. And what is default method? Default method means those methods which have implementation in interface. Okay. So when you give implementation for a method in interface, then that method should be declared as default. Or if you try something like this without default, now you will get error. Abstract methods do not specify a body. Why? Because by default it takes everything as abstract. So if you specifically want to give implementation, then you have to make that method as default method.
Ma'am, I didn't understood this point. Can you repeat this?
Yeah. Suppose we want a method in interface with implementation. Okay. And if you declare a method like this, public void print, a normal declaration of method with the implementation, you are getting error, right? So
Yeah.
in interface, you cannot directly give implementation for a method. So if you want a method to have an implementation, then make it default. You have to specify it as default method. You have to use this keyword default.
This is the rule.
Okay. Means we can't define a function without default.
Yeah.
And but then the next function we are using static and not
Yeah.
using default.
So static methods are another exception case. So static
Okay.
methods we can give implementation. This do not have to be default. So these are three different types of methods supported in a interface. So one is abstract method. Second is if you give implementation, then that method should be either default or static. So default methods are used for when we use default methods. If you want to have some default implementation, use default methods. And static method, the specialty is this is actually the method of shape itself. Just like in classes, when we have a static method, we say that it belongs to the class itself, not the object, right? So here again, static methods are methods of interface itself. So these are the types of methods in interface. And what about variables? We can have variables. Suppose I declare int a, now I'm getting an error. What is the error here? Blank final field a may not have been
You
initialized.
need to initialize that
Yeah,
whenever in the interface.
right.
Now,
So if
one thing here, if we have a default method, then also we have to create an object, then only call it, right? Rather than just using the object for calling in the case of static.
yeah. Only after implementing the interface you can call the default method by creating object of that class. But for
Even if it is static.
no. For static method you can call using the interface name
Oh,
shape.test. So here we have to initialize. So we can say this is by default, final variables must be initialized right before variables, and also these are public by default, public, final, and one more thing, and static. So the variables in interface are public, final, and static by default. Okay. So you cannot have uninitialized variables inside interface. Getting it?
Yes, ma'am.
Static variables, you mean what?
Static variables means the variable is associated with the shape itself. Shape dot
Oh,
a.
directly we can use shape.a to use
Yes.
an attribute. Okay, it's type of an attribute that we generally use.
Yeah. Like class, we have static variables, right? If we want to
Yes.
for class
I understand.
student, yeah. So this is our interface now. Uh,
Ma'am,
yeah, the keyword.
why they are used?
Yeah,
I mean, this interface class.
yeah. I'll tell you after explaining this part. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you can see class circle that implements our shape. I think here now we have more in this. Okay. Now class circle implements shape. So implements is the keyword to inherit whatever the methods and variables that we have in class shape. Sorry, interface shape. So you for classes we use extends keyword, right? And for interface we have to use implements. So class circle implements our interface shape now, and here again we will get the same error if you do not give, if you do not, sorry, what I did. Hmm. So here, if you do not give implementation for the draw method, we will get the same error. Type circle must implement the inherited abstract method draw, but you won't get the error for default method and static method. Okay. Now, in class example 2, main method, creating object of circle, a circle c equal to new circle, and calling the draw method. We'll get drawing circle as the output. And here, one more thing, same rule like abstract class, we cannot create object of interface. Okay, we cannot create object of interface. We can create reference variable of interface, and yeah, so we can have shape c equal to new circle. Okay, now how can we call this particular test method? Static method we can call, using the object also we can call, but better is to call using the interface name itself. Yeah, okay. And the default method we can call using c dot object. Okay. Is that fine? The basics of interface.
And
Yes,
what
ma'am.
all you covered,
Oh,
actually, just a
sorry,
revision.
sorry, I didn't get you.
Just a quick recap, can you?
Yeah, I will do. Yeah. So interface is like normally like an abstract class, but with more features and some other extra things. Okay. And first of all, the variables. The variables inside interface are public, final, and static by default. And whenever we declare a variable in interface, that variables must be initialized. Now comes to methods. So there are different types of methods in interface. These three are discussed in our lectures. So first thing is all the methods in interface by default are public and abstract if not specified. Okay, without implementation, these abstract methods. And then we can also have default methods. If you want your method to do something by default, you can give implementation for the method and add this default keyword before the method to make it a default method. So next thing is static methods. Static methods are interface on method, and you can give implementation for static methods. That's it.
Ma'am, one question then. In general, we know that when we have our classes and objects, that type of notation, then we can use method overriding to handle the default constructor, right? And here also, if we say, let's say white print, it is printing, but we can override it, right? Based
Yes,
on the
yes.
subclass definition, we can override it.
Yeah.
So why can't we use that in SAP? Means, is this the type of rule that interface imposes while using interfaces in Java? Means, is it related to interfaces itself? Means, like if you use interface, then you have to define it in this way only.
Yeah, yeah. So sorry. Let- Yeah. So you asked why we have these different rules for interface, right? So basically,
Yes.
why we need interface. One thing is to act as a blueprint for other classes to implement, and one more thing is the multiple inheritance. So you know that, right? In classes, we cannot do multiple inheritance. So we cannot
Yes.
extend more than one class. At the same
Yes.
time, we can implement more than one interface. So, and these kind of things. And one more thing, you can think like this: interface is more like a public, what we can say, a
Public view of whatever we are doing, means
yeah,
whatever we expect that a user should do.
right. And also, it's like it should be available for every other classes to either implement or use it. More like a
Oh,
public API.
okay, so it's not private, means we can't make interfaces private.
Yeah, no. And also, we cannot even have protected methods in interface. Private methods are
All
allowed in
public.
interface, all
Hmm.
public. Protected are not allowed. Why private is allowed is for other some cases. We can use it like when we have multiple default methods using the same line of code. We can put that code inside this particular private method, and all other default methods can call this method to improve code reusability. Those purpose. But still,
Okay.
protected methods are not allowed in interface because we are not considering that all the classes are going to be in the same package or all the classes are going to implement the interface. Without implementing the interface itself, we can use the static method, right? So all
Yes.
those things are made available. Yeah. Now,
Okay.
yeah. So interface is a very interesting topic, and you can read more on this. Okay. Now comes multiple inheritance. So using class, we cannot extend more than one classes. So, but interface allows multiple inheritance. And why we were not able to do multiple inheritance using classes? Because when we have when we try to extend two classes, and if both the classes have a function with the same name, then which method to inherit or which method to invoke will be ambiguous. So they were not able to solve this ambiguity in Java. So they didn't try, I guess. So they introduced this particular multiple inheritance in interface through some other what we can say rules. So again, interface also will come will see this kind of confusion, like which method to invoke. All these are solved actually. Before that, let me see. I have anything left here. Okay, I'll take you through slides again. Can we sort circle objects in general function? Then comes, let's come to interface. An interface is a purely abstract class. Before it was, but after Java it included this default methods as well. Class implements an interface, provide concrete code. Class can implement multiple interfaces, what we saw earlier. Okay, next, same thing.
Ma'am, someone raised hand.
Yeah, please tell.
Ma'am, you said that interface is an abstract class. So why do we need abstract class and interface, two different classes?
Yeah, that is for multiple inheritance. So,
Okay, so abstract class can't do multiple
no,
inheritance.
using classes we cannot do multiple inheritance. We cannot extend more than one class. But
Okay.
using interfaces, we can implement more than one interfaces.
Okay, ma'am, got it.
Yeah, I'll take one example of multiple inheritance. Or I'll take this one example first, then I'll go to multiple inheritance. Okay. Here, this is like we have an interface and an abstract class. Okay. Interface 1, void method 1, and abstract class method 2, again an abstract method. And here you see line number 10, class extends this abstract class and implements this interface 1. Okay, and whenever you have class and an interface, you have to write class first, extending the class first, then implementing the interface. If you have multiple interface, you can put comma and add it here. Now, giving implementation for method 1 from interface 1, method 1 implementation from interface 1. This is a method 2 implementation from
Um,
abstract class. Yeah.
can you again explain that line 10? This my class extends abstract class and plus it
And
implements
yes,
interface 1.
right. And it implements interface 1. So syntax is like this, you don't have to add and or comma.
Okay.
Just give extends abstract class, implements interface 1. If it is
It
one
can
interface.
it can also directly implement interface 1 without extending.
Yeah, it can do.
Okay.
Yeah. This is just an example which shows both interface and
Okay, ma'am.
abstract class. Yeah. Now, given implementation for both abstract methods coming from abstract class and interface. Here we have a main method creating object of my class, calling the methods. Normal call. Okay. Now let's move on to multiple inheritance. Okay. Say here we have interface scanner, and the scanner has a public abstract method scan and a default method f, and default method has an implementation f from scanner, just printing out f from scanner. Here we have interface printer and an abstract method print, and here we have a default method f again. See the name of the method, same as that of scanner, and here the implementation is println f from printer. Now here we have class copier that implements those two interface. How you do this? Implements, give the interface name comma the next interface name, scanner comma printer. Now copier will get all these abstract methods and default methods, right? And you have to give implementation for all the abstract methods that you get. First of all, take the scan method, override it. Here we are just printing scanning, and next one is print, overriding printing. And you see here we have default method f and another default method f from printer and as well as scanner. Okay. Now when we have methods same with same name in both interface, then that will lead to ambiguity, right? So how to resolve this conflict? What we have to do is we have to override or give new implementation implementation for the default method. Okay, so here we are giving a new implementation for the method f, default method f, and you can give any new thing, or still if you want the f from interface scanner or printer, you just call it like this. Take the interface name, using the super, access the method scanner.super.f. We can't directly call super.f, right? Because now class copier has two parent, right? Scanner and printer. So directly calling super, again it will lead to ambiguity. So you have to specify the interface name, then super dot the default method name.
If
So
we are overriding the method.
right, we are overriding the default method.
So it is compulsory to override.
It is compulsory to override when we have two interfaces with the same name.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean two
Interfaces
interfaces, not
or
interfaces, methods. Yeah, sorry. Okay, that is the main thing. And here creating object of copier. Copier is our class. Calling the scan, print, and f. Sorry.
ma'am, we are defining scanner printer for void because we are implementing two interfaces, right? So
Uh,
that it can understand which one it has to use.
please repeat.
We are using scanner.super.f in our void because we are implementing two interfaces,
Right,
right?
right, correct.
Copier implements two interfaces,
Yeah,
and since we are overriding the method, so it should understand which one
if
it
you
has
are
to use.
referring
But here, dot super means what?
dot
Means
super
like
means
why we are using super here?
because it's actually parent of copier, right? Scanner and printer both are parent of copier. So syntactically we want to refer in that manner. And as it is not static method, we cannot call directly with the scanner.f.
So
As it is
super is just to
default
create that
method,
object.
super is referring to the parent of copier, and which parent, that also you have to refer.
Okay, no, this is little bit cryptic. Means like I'm not getting why we are using that.
So see, suppose it
Why can't I directly use scanner.f?
that won't support. When we use class name or interface, only when it is static, right?
Yes, okay.
But our f is not a static method, it's a default
It's a
method.
default one.
So the only way is to use super keyword.
So super will refer to the printer as well as the scanner.
Yeah. So
No,
super,
scanner.
if you simply use super, now
Hmm.
see the error. Method f is undefined for the type object. So it is directly going to the object, class object.
Hmm.
So you have to specify which parent, because anyway all the
Okay,
classes
yes.
by default inherit class object. Now it's like it has some many parents here.
We are giving name to that object.
Object, yeah.
Okay,
So
okay,
you
yeah,
have
because
to specify.
object is the parent, the top, at the very top of the hierarchical level,
Right.
object,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it should be
Okay.
clear which f you are referring to.
Understood.
Yeah. So you'll get printing, scanning, printing, and F we call both F from scanner and F from printer. Okay. If you don't want to call this, you just leave it and give a new definition for F. All clear?
Ma'am, the last part, the public static, yeah, this can you explain?
Here,
Yes.
So
No, the earlier part itself, the public static void main string args. Okay. After that, all the copier part.
okay, so we created copier object.
Mhm.
C1 is our object name, calling c1.scan. We go here, print
Mhm.
scanning, c1.print, go here, printing, and c1.f. This is our latest definition. And yeah, earlier it was scanner.super.f, right? So
Mhm.
that will take us to scanner, go to scanner, take F
Mhm.
from scanner,
Okay.
and
And same for printer.
printer. Where is that?
Okay. Had it been static, yes, if there were static methods, because we are not in the copier method, we can have static methods, right?
Yeah.
In interface as well.
Well,
So
yeah,
if that was the case, then we don't have to create an object. We can directly use the
the
name,
interface
like
name.
copier dot whatever method name is that.
Right.
Okay. Now I understand.
Yeah. Is it clear for everyone?
Yeah, ma'am, it is.
Oh, now we saw this. Yeah. One more thing. We saw how we solve the conflict between default methods. When we have default method in to interface, what we'll do, we will give a new implementation. We'll override the method. What if it is like we have class and an interface, like the previous example, like this. And what if this also is method 1? Then what to do? In this case, whatever the implementation that is given for the
Class.
class, yeah, that will be taken into consideration. So class win rule.
If not overridden from
Yeah,
any.
right.
This only happens when the method is abstract.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is the cases. Here you see the example. We have class person and get name method, and interface as a default method get name. Now, in this case, if another class extends this class person and implements this designation, now employee gets both methods, one default method and this is a normal method with implementation. In this case, this method will be taken, not the default method.
No name. No name will be printed.
Yeah.
But if we want to use interface method itself, then how to do that? We have to overwrite it.
Then you have to use the super particular interface dot super dot designation.
You mean like designation dot super dot get
Yeah,
name.
right.
Okay, that's why you were using it at that time.
Yeah. So that's how we solve different conflicts. I think most of the things are done. Three.
Total, how many topics are there in week 4?
Actually, we just completed 2 topics. We have 6, I guess.
Ma'am, so just to clarify,
Yeah.
in abstract class, we use abstract class for the cases where we have to form different objects, but they have same implementation, and different implementation of same method, right?
Mm-mm.
And interface we use generally for multiple inheritance.
Yeah. So interface came into place because abstract classes, even if you have multiple templates, we cannot use for the same class.
Okay.
At the same time, with interface, we can do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's go to the next topic now. So inner class. So what is inner class? Just see this particular example. Here we have class employee with these variables name, salary, and joining date. And here we have class date with these variables. And when we have this class date, this is public class again. And this class date, if it is public, and here we have date object used in class employee. And from outside also we can make any changes to an object of class date as it is public. Suppose we want something, some classes or some data to be not available to other classes and available only to this particular class, in this case employee, then we can make this class date as a private class. But in
I have
Java,
a question.
yeah,
I have a question. Here, public class date and then private int day, month, year. Okay, I understand. But earlier
in,
also we have a string name as private, salary as again private, and join date again as private. So how can another person manipulate it? Means is it because he is developing the code because the user can't access it,
no,
right?
no, no, no. We are talking about in the perspective of development itself.
Okay,
So in
then
case,
he can access,
yeah, we
yes,
can access
because it is
using
in the
public
same class.
accessor. Yeah,
Mm.
using accessor methods, setters and getters, we can access.
He can do that. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
okay.
So we don't want that to happen. So in that case, we can make this particular class as private class. And at the same time, when we make private class simply a private class, that doesn't make sense. Okay, because we cannot access anything of a private class. We cannot create object or anything. So what we will do is we'll add the private class inside another class. So it's actually an inner class, a class inside another class. So private class can exist only in that manner, as a class inside another class. So taking a different example here, this is using linked list. I'll take another example. Okay, let's see this. Here we have class employee, and here we have string name and address A. So address itself is a class, and this address class is actually a private class. And you see, this class is declared, defined inside class employee itself. So this is private inner class. Now, using the constructor, this is going to initialize the value for name. And what is for address? In address class, what we have? We have a private string city variable, and here we have a constructor to initialize the value for city, and this is a toString method to print address object. So just return city. So this will, if you print address object, it will simply print the city value. Now, here you see how we are actually using this private class. So to use private class, we have to create an object of private class, right? And we cannot do this outside the class employee. Only the private class
Mm.
is available only for the outer class employee. And how we are using it? We are having a public method, add and set address, that takes some variable, string variable, and then creating object of address here. So here you can create object of address class. Now, whatever the value that we give for C will be taken for address and will be initialized for the city.
Ma'am, I didn't understood this. Means like why we are doing this and also what we are doing here. Means like what is the main idea behind this?
Idea behind this is, if you do not want this particular class implementation to be available for other classes, outer classes, then
Okay, some other class say manager.
yeah. So if you make any changes inside this class
Mm.
and you don't want others to see what's happening inside,
Okay, hiding the implementation details. Okay.
yeah, kind of we are forcing encapsulation at a higher
Mm-hmm.
level,
Okay.
protecting the data completely.
Okay, understood that part.
If we have some ATM or bank related transaction or something, we can make
Mhm.
some our okay, for example, payment gateway. When we give our
Mhm.
details, the card
Mhm.
details, we can store it in a private class object.
Yes.
So that details nobody can access.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
such kind of details we can keep it into a separate private class.
Okay. So here class is acting like a data type itself. Means entire all the things is like a blueprint. It's a blueprint where we are storing our details. That's
Hmm.
it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And we can only access it through our parent class, which is the class in which this particular private
In
class
that
is
class
defined.
is defined. Right.
Okay. And means like we are using our setters, right? Getters and setters. So we are using setters to create the, but then we are creating an object within that particular class itself.
Yes, within the outer class itself.
And why we are doing that too? Is that
Otherwise,
the
we
type
cannot
of
access.
constructor?
Yeah.
Is that
Otherwise, we cannot do it in any other way. So this is the only way by which we can do this.
okay? This is a functionality that is imposed on a developer to do this in order
Yeah.
to access.
Yeah.
Okay.
So only this method will be available through this class employee.
Okay.
And whatever you create in this inside, this will be available only for class employee.
Okay.
So that's how we initialize the value for this example is very vague. So that's why. So this is our toString method to print employee, and here you see we are printing name and address object. Now in a class, how we are calling this? We are creating object of employee, passing the value for name, and we are calling add and set address method. This is a normal method, a public method. Using the employee object, we are calling add and set address method, passing the value for city as Chennai. And now this will go here, create an object of address, and then will assign the value for city. Now we are printing object employee E. So here we are calling this print will automatically invoke the toString method. We will get the name and the address object. We can print address object here, right? So toString method defined as the toString method in address is defined in such a way that it will return city. So we'll get name and city as output, Meena and
Ma'am,
Chennai as output.
and
Yeah,
here in the private class itself, you are
Hmm.
defining a public method, public string to string.
yeah. So
So
yes,
that is allowed.
that is allowed. So even if I define this method, this
Mm-hmm.
constructor as public and all, still as the class is private,
Mm-hmm.
this will not be accessible outside the outer class.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's only available in the parent or employee.
parent. Yeah, its accessibility is restricted through this private.
Understood. Okay, that's why we are able to access it as well as print the value itself.
Right.
And since it is within the employee, that's why we can use this name as well as the a, that is address, right?
Right. Is that clear for everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the example discussed in our lectures using linked list. So, linked list is a data structure built using Node. So, you know, right, how linked list is done? So, we have multiple nodes
No, I
connected
don't know.
together. Okay. So, see here this image.
Mhm.
So linked list is a data structure where we will store data like array and other things stack in queue. So in linked list, every point or every node, we call it as a node,
Hmm.
and they will be connected together and form a linked list. So
Okay.
every node will itself has data and address part. Okay, and it's like here you will store the data. Suppose you are storing 0, 1, 2, 3. So data will be here 0, and 1 will be here, 2 will be here,
Hmm.
and how they are connected to each other through the address. So this particular node, the next part, the here, this will store the address of next node. So that's how it is arranged in the memory.
Same
And
like blockchain.
yeah, blockchain. Okay, so you can think like this. And
So the next word
hmm,
is actually is containing the address of the next node, that data.
right, yes, right.
Means it is containing the data, or is it containing just the
Next
address,
contains just the address of next node.
memory address pointer?
Yeah, it's a pointer.
Okay.
So
Okay.
in C, you will write it as a pointer only.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So the first node will be head node. So head node will point to the first node, and first node will point to second node will point to third node, and if there is no nodes more, then it will point to null object, null, end of
So
the
at
linked
the
list.
start also it should point to null, because head object will point to the next node, but it will not contain the data.
Head node, the specialty of head node is it won't contain data part, it will just
Hmm.
contain the next part. It's kind of that. Yeah. So yeah, this is a normal, what we say, singly linked list. Okay, where we have data and the next part will point to the address of the next node. There is
Hmm.
something called as doubly linked list. Mm, mm. So singly linked list, doubly, see here. So in doubly linked list, the specialty is each node will point to the next node as well as the previous node. So it will have data and previous part and next part. So this is useful for traversal to go this way or backward direction, both ways. I think, is that fine?
So it will be faster, right? Means like traversal would be faster, deletion would be faster.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I think the below code is written in C.
This is in yeah, strict C only. Yeah.
How we do this in Java?
Java, everything is predefined actually.
Okay, it's defined. Means like
Huh.
we can directly use
We have a
some.
collection package, so we just have to use it. We'll
So we
discuss this in
we
week
need to
6.
we not need to worry about this. We need
No,
to just do
implementation
that.
we don't need to worry. We just have to create object of linked list and use it. So here, why sir took this example is to explain the use of private class. Okay, now keep all those points in mind and look at this.
Part then okay, totally fine.
Yeah, suppose, uh, yeah, here what we did is when it comes to Java, we'll create class for node. For each node, we need object of node, right? So we'll have blueprint class node, and this node will have two part, data and next. Data part will store the data, and the next part will store the address of the next node. Two things, just like in structure in C. I mean, sorry, I leave it. So node, for node we have data part and next part. And when we create linked list, okay, just see this part. So here we can specify the size. For that we have the variable, and this is for the first node, creating a variable for first node, and this is for head, how to create head, and then this is to insert a new node, delete a new node. All those operation we have to specify, right? For that we have to
Mm.
add the methods. And
Mhm.
point here is why we are using private class for node here. Now for node we are using private class. Why? So if you want to convert this node into doubly linked list, then we can change inside part. We can add the pre and the next both. We can enhance our linked list. So we don't want our node to be public. We will make it as a private class and we will change the implementation of our node.
Also, it will prevent data leakage as well as I think no one can means like change the
Change
values
the,
itself. It will
yeah,
provide a security type of
yeah,
stuff.
right. So that is the main thing. Now you've got an idea why we use inner class.
Yes.
Yeah, ma'am.
Inner basically, in essence, inner basically means a class where a private class is defined in that, right?
Please repeat.
Inner class basically means a class
Yeah,
where an inner class is defined in within that particular class
yeah.
itself.
Inner class basically means a class inside another class, and we
Hmm.
are dealing with private inner class.
Okay. So
Yeah.
can we have like even within our main method, which is an entry point, we can have this means like, because whatever we have written here, it will be a separate class, right? After that, we will have our void main method where it will be an entry point, right? So within that entry point itself, we can define this as private class, right?
We actually no, we don't do that. So whenever we develop some bigger programs
Hmm.
in Java, we will keep every class as separate files. So
Okay.
we don't add the static main method inside the same class. Like in linked list, we won't add the static main method and create linked list. So that is just for
Okay.
showing the examples. So actually, when we go into production part, we will keep
Okay.
each of the classes in separate files and then we will use it, create object and use it.
Okay, so means like one entry point will be there where all the files will be
Yes,
means like
just
all
like
the
the
basic files.
index.html in while developing
Understood.
something. Yeah. And
Okay.
if you see our programs itself in practice assignment, grading assignment, you will see
Mhm.
all the examples will be starting like public class something. And if you run
There are
this,
multiple classes. That's why
yeah,
I'm asking this question.
yes, multiple classes, and we assume that these multiple classes are residing in multiple files. That's why we kept it as public. So,
Okay.
yeah,
I felt that means why private is not working. Usually I start with private.
okay, yeah. So, private classes we can have only inside another class. Keep it that in
Okay.
mind. Okay.
Okay.
Ma'am, in Java, is it allowed that we can call a function, I mean, we can call a method before it is defined, or we can call a class before it is defined?
Yeah, you
Because
mean, yeah, order now, up, top,
Yeah,
down.
ma'am,
Yeah,
order, order.
yeah, we can call, yeah. So an object can have nested objects as instance variables, like just we saw in employee. Here, address A is the nested object. Nesting means inside another class or object. In some situation, the structure of these nested objects need not be exposed. We don't want to expose this either that address or node or something like nested objects outside. So private classes allow an additional degree of data encapsulation. What is encapsulation? Binding together data and methods, right?
methods together.
Yeah.
Also adding a means like private thing means like
Yes, yes.
encapsulation is like hiding the details itself. I that what I understand from that.
Right, right. So we will make the instance variables as private and the methods will be public. Accessors and getters and setters. Next, combine private classes with, yeah, next topic is this. We will combine this private classes, this sector topic, private classes with interfaces, and we'll see how we can provide some controlled access to state of an object. Are you getting any disturbance from my side?
No,
Some
ma'am,
background noises, ma'am.
Okay.
a little bit. No problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's
So,
fine if you when you speak, it is. I mean, your voice is dominant, so it is fine.
Oh, okay, okay, fine then. So next is controlled interaction through objects. Let's see. So controlled interaction. Okay. See here, what we are trying to do, we are trying to relate this private class and the interface together and see how we can have a controlled interaction with some objects. Okay. I'll go through this example where we have interface academics. This is a public interface, consider like that. And here we have an abstract method, get result. Now in class university, here we have some variable university ID, and you see here we have a private class college, and the private class college implements this particular academics. This is one more addition level, right? Earlier we just saw a private class. Now
Hmm.
here you see this private class is implementing a public interface. Okay. Now
Hmm.
in private class we have college name as string variable, college code, and here we have a normal constructor to initialize college name and code. And here we have a get name method that will return the college name. And here this method get result, this is actually the method that we got from academics, this abstract method. So college is implementing public interface academics and it is overriding the get result method. Get result method is implemented in this manner that will print out 100% passed. Now
Ma'am, there, can it leave this method as abstract when it is implementing the interface, or it must implement the method, abstract method?
it must implement because this is an abstract method. Now if you keep this as abstract, then we cannot achieve what we are trying to achieve. Normally if you are keeping this as abstract, then that class should be abstract class, but here
Okay.
our goal is different, so we have to implement. So now you see this particular method inside the class university, okay, not inside private class college. Now this public method get reference, the return type is academics. Okay. And what it is returning? Returning an object of college. College is our private class. We can create an object of college here, right? Inside the inside the class university, outside the college, outer class. Creating object of college, passing some values. And what is the return type here? It is academics here. Can we have academics as return type? Or why we can have it? So private class college implements our academics interface. So as you know, we can create reference variable of interface, right? And we can assign the classes that implement that particular interface. Remember this point, right?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So this is allowed. We can create a new college object and assign to academics. Now, in our main method, we are creating object of our outer class university, uni, and creating object. And here you see we are creating reference variable of type academics. Academics is public, so we can create it here, and using the university object calling the getReference method. And what is getReference method doing? It is returning as the private class object college. So we are able to get object of college through academics, the public interface academics. And as you know, academics gave us this getResult method. So we can call getResult using this variable acad.
So we are creating an object, I mean this ACAD, and directly calling the get reference. I mean directly assigning the get reference to it, the value we got from get
Is
reference.
it a static method?
No. It's a normal method. GetReference is a regular method.
Ma'am,
Okay.
one thing that I didn't understood from lecture was what are the things that we are achieving by using this particular method, using the interface as well as our um, forgot the name, classes, right?
Yeah, got it. I'll tell you. Yeah. So here what you see is, even though our class is private class, okay, usually we cannot access anything from a private class, right? But
Yes.
we want access to this particular get result method.
Mm.
How we are getting it? We had a public interface academics, and
Mm.
that has this get result method, a public method. We
Mm.
implemented that method in our private class, and through that public interface we are able to get access to get result method now.
Okay. So you're
So
creating an object,
yeah,
defining a private class in there, and then you're using it to get the reference, right?
yeah. So it's like controlled interaction with an object. We are not getting everything in our private class, but we are getting something that we need, the main thing.
So earlier also we could use this method, right? Earlier also when I was practicing, I using public and means like private for all the instances that I'm going to do. Was using private, and if I remember correctly, an interface has this property, right? All the variables within that is by default means like static and abstract,
And
right?
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
So means what is the difference here? That I am not able to relate. Means
So
like earlier also we can define our private public classes and access that, and here also we are doing that only using interface itself.
right,
Then
right.
means like what we are what
Okay.
is the
So
difference?
this is just an example of showing how to do this. Okay.
Hmm.
Now let's see a real life example on why we want this. Suppose consider our IRCTC website. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
So what if someone is checking, simply spamming and checking the status of some train going here and there, and it actually doesn't allow others to access. This is called as something like some bombarding request, something I forgot the term. So that is one problem. So if users are allowed, if in case users are allowed to access our railway some application without any restriction, without any login, then somebody will do this and make trouble for others, right? So if you see in our currently in IRCTC, they will check for, they will ask to log in first, right? Only then we will be able to access. And in this particular example, we are taking somewhat similar to that. Consider this railway booking class, okay? And
Hmm.
yeah, now we have a booking DB, which is just a database that stores some data related to login and other stuffs, okay? And here you see this login method that takes username and password, and here, after checking whether the particular user is valid or not, calling the method valid login by giving the username and password. If and only if the login is valid, then it is going to create an object of type query object. I'll tell you what is query object. And using the query object, we can get the status of some train number that is running on some date. Okay, but when we will get this query object, only if the login is valid. Only if
So
the
valid
login
login is somewhere defined.
yes, valid login is somewhere defined. So here this is just like a story.
Okay.
I'll show you
I
the
was not finding that valid login in the code itself. That's why I
yeah.
was not getting.
You can refer this one here. I have implemented all those and
Okay, we have this, huh?
yeah. I just put it in the chat. So this is
Actually,
first
Ma'am,
I will
sorry.
I'll
Ma'am, this
continue with this. Yeah.
that HTML page you are sharing, can
Hmm.
you please share it in the chat? I mean,
it was shared. It was shared.
okay, I missed it. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
So it
So
has
here,
the summary of entire content of week 4.
yeah.
That
Right. It's not summary actually. It's elaboration kind of.
okay.
Yeah. So in this code, let's focus. Now we had railway DB object and yeah, we are trying to get the query object and we will get the query object only if the login is valid. And what is the use of this query object? Using the query object, we can get the status. Okay, only the status. And there are some other things that is present in this query object. Query object itself is a private class and the query object will have other details, other private details that users doesn't need to access. Okay, and the users can access only this particular method, get status method. And how can we access this from outside? As this is a private class, we will enable them to access only through a public interface QAF, and this has the get status method which is implemented in query object. That's why we are able to access the get status. Clear?
Okay.
So I'll tell the story again and I'll go to the code, the bigger one. Okay.
Okay.
So we have database where we have the details. Okay. And then we have the login method. Login method is used to check whether login is valid. If the login is valid, only if the login is valid, it is going to return as the query object through which we can access the get status method. Okay. And the query object class or the object that will have this get status method, this is a private class and only we need to access only the get status method, not any other things inside the private class. So how we are able to
Okay.
access it? Because query object implements a public interface QAF that gives us get status method.
Okay. Just to access certain part of it, we are using this particular method.
Right. That's why we say controlled interaction. Not everything inside the private class, very few things that we require.
Just
So,
using private uh, attributes or instance variables as well as public methods.
yeah, so these things, number of queries, you see, private class is a query object in a detailed manner. It has number of queries and it also has a variable queue limit, query limit. These things are not available for us. So,
Okay. So
using
what is state then here? I mean, like state. Uh, state
state
means what?
means the value that we assign to these variables. So, number of queries, if it is equal,
State is relatable to condition. What is the current condition of that particular variable? The value is 0 or 1, 2, 3. It's a
yeah,
dynamic type of interaction in there, right?
that we can say, yeah,
Value gets updated.
yeah.
Okay.
So, can provide controlled access to an object, combine private classes with interface. External interaction is through an object of the private class and the capability. Here, the capability means, in this case, the capability is get status method from the interface. Okay. capability of this object are through through public interface. So the only capability that we know is getting the status, get status method. Object can maintain instance variables to track the state of interaction. So we can track the state of interaction using the variable q limit, query limit. So if it is equal to 3 something,
Mhm.
then we can say that we are able
That
to
could
track the
understood.
status. Yeah.
That could I understood. I was having only this particular problem. This if valid login u comma that is username and password q object is equal to new query object. So means like we are creating our query object only after verifying it's a valid
Login,
login.
yes, yes. So
Okay.
in the coming examples also in our
Hmm.
lectures, you may see
Hmm.
some code like this which won't have complete code. It will be kind of pseudo code.
So I should refer to that elaboration, that thing that you.
Elaboration, yeah, we have not we don't have every week, I guess, but still we'll try to
Mhm.
get it done. Yeah. Just keep this in mind. If you see something like this, you just remember, or my sir always explains this before. Maybe you missed that part. Valid login. What is valid login? Okay.
No, actually, in the lectures I didn't explain, but I already assumed, but still I was not getting the fact. Means I was having this issue of interface as well as abstract, so that was
Okay.
kind of mixing. I was mixing things, but now it's clear. Means like why we are doing it. Why?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, good,
perfect.
good. So here you see interface QAF, get status, getting train number, date. This is our DB booking DB class. This is railway booking, and here we have valid login. This checks whether it is equal to username and password. This is a simple thing. Returning new query object, calling the get status method if the query object is returned.
Mhm.
Here is our main method, calling with
Okay.
these dates. Try this,
That
just run
part
this
says.
code and see it, okay?
Okay, okay. I will check.
Yeah.
Ma'am, so basically, in a class, there is some private method, but
Mm.
we are using that private method using some public method to access few parts of it.
In a class, we have private class, and
Okay, yeah, private class.
yeah, so we are getting access to some of the part, some method through any public interface.
Uh,
Ma'am, this is like that we are accessing the private instance variables using the public methods.
Public methods, kind of. Yeah, but
Okay,
in
ma'am.
a different manner. Yeah.
Earlier we were doing the same thing, but in a different manner.
Yes, yes. Okay. So
I think callbacks and one more topic is left. Yes.
yeah, callback and iterators are left.
It
I
reduces.
think I'll take iterator. Are you guys exhausted with the information overloaded?
Actually, there are a
little bit,
lot of
ma'am.
things in this field.
Haha, yes, yes, that's why.
So means little bit if we get time to digest, it will most fine.
Overload.
I think a week for
Mm,
just release. No? Means let others tell also means like what they want.
yeah. So I think this iterator topic is very easy. I'll go through this then. Callback, you need again concentration. We'll go with iterator and we'll stop it. Or should I? Do you have any doubt in practice or grade assignment or sorry, not grade or activity questions?
Activity I have.
Activity. Okay, I'll take activity then.
Means like I think the first or second activity. There are a lot of questions. Means like
Okay, then we'll have this doubt clearing session now because I know how it feels like complete information. Which one?
I think it was the last or second last one. These two, these few I did. Yeah, all these codes. Yeah.
Okay, I'll take from last.
Basically, at that time, I was not understanding these abstract classes and all those things. But
Okay,
what I
then
understood from the lecture itself was that abstract class is something where we are defining a method, but we are not saying how we are going to implement it. So we have to implement it when we are means doing that. So
yeah,
here, abstract class was car, and Alto was extending the car. So extending the car was means like it's abstract. So we have to Boolean was sedan, return false. Basically, what I find hard is that how to interpret this means like how to go through and do this. Like here car, why we do this, why
Yeah,
we did this, all
yeah.
true. So
See,
that
we'll see. We'll see. Okay. Suppose, yeah, we have this abstract class car, and here has this abstract method boolean is hidden. I don't know the pronunciation. So public class alto extends car, and here it is overriding the method is hidden, and it returned false. Okay, all the time.
Mhm.
Now, in main method we have created object of car,
Mhm.
reference variable of type car. Okay, and
Reference variable of type car.
yeah,
Why not alto?
alto is also possible, but here they gave it as car,
Okay.
and here created object of alto and then
Hmm.
typecast it to car. Okay,
Hmm.
so now calling car dot this particular method. Any error
Hmm.
you find?
That thing I
It
was
will
not
give
able to.
error, no? It will give error. In my take, it will it will call the boolean is hidden, that one, the which is there in the
Earlier, the top one, no?
yeah inside the abstract class, not the in the alto.
But see, uh, this particular method,
Hmm.
this particular method is actually implementation for this one, right? Okay,
Yeah,
no. You see,
No.
one more thing is here. So we have this
Abstract is
abstract
not
class.
mentioned, right?
This is not, yeah, here abstract
Hmm.
is not mentioned. So this will give a compiler error. Otherwise, it's not a problem. But here in this case, if we have a method without any implementation, that method should be abstract. But do we have abstract keyword here? No. So this
No.
will give this
Abstract class
one.
should have abstract methods.
No, not like that. If you
Okay.
have a method that do
Hmm.
not have an implementation, then
Hmm.
that method should be declared as abstract.
Okay.
Huh?
Was this covered in lecture? Because I didn't find it.
No. This is covered. This is covered. So
What I knew was means if you have abstract method, then you have when you write a particular method, it should be abstract boolean and all those things.
no. So this is actually
Hmm.
given. So I think we have seen that already here. Suppose we add an abstract method, you have to specify that it is abstract.
Here, see, a public abstract int comp, public abstract double parameter. Okay, so
Hmm.
abstract was removed here. So
Yeah,
we have to assume it directly from our side that it should be abstract.
yeah. Because it doesn't have an implementation. If you
Ma'am,
put
question
some
number.
method without
Mhm.
implementation, that should be abstract method.
Okay. So question number 4.
For
This code I didn't understand
yeah,
actually. Means I think here we are finding factorial.
yes. So we have abstract class max. Okay, num1. Okay, store 0. This is a normal method. Find factorial.
Mm-hmm.
Store is having this y value that we give here, and finding
Wait
the
a
factorial.
wait a minute, ma'am.
Yeah.
Here this dot store refers to the math class, right?
Yes.
Math dot store. So that value will be 0
Yeah, it
or
was
whatever.
0. It was
Huh.
0, but when you call find factorial with some number, then
Mm-hmm.
the store value will change to the number that we pass through y.
Okay. Hmm.
Now we'll check these things and we'll find the factorial, and factorial will be stored into num. Factorial logic.
Okay.
0, we stored
Hmm.
num equal num into y,
Mhm.
and y equal to y minus 1, reducing the values, and
Mhm.
finally return the factorial of store. Store will have the value, right? We already stored it. Whatever the value that we
Okay.
call, we don't want
Okay.
to change it. Factorial of that number is factorial. We'll get the value of factorial here.
Mhm.
So public
The
class
last
factorial
line. The last line.
here. Yeah.
That thing is what we are
So
doing
see
here.
here
Hmm.
we are creating object of factorial, Okay,
Okay.
this particular class, and then calling find factorial method. And
Ma'am,
how
one
we are
thing,
able to do this? Factorial
it should
extends
be a
our,
string. No? All these things should be converted to string. No? This print requires
yeah,
this
yeah.
string.
See, this is a string, right? What we are returning? We are returning a string.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not an issue. So
Okay,
here
that's why we can do
factorial
this.
extends math, yeah.
Hmm.
And create object of factorial called find factorial with value 1.
One. So basically, it's finding a factorial.
Factorial of 1 is 1. Yeah.
One.
Ma'am, here we are here creating object without referencing, ma'am.
Yeah, we are not using any reference variable, directly creating the object and calling the function, which is allowed.
Okay, ma'am.
Just below question, ma'am, and then question number
This one.
fifth, fifth, and then
Okay, let's see.
ninth.
Yeah.
Fifth and ninth.
So here we
I
have
think this
class.
was again easy, but I mixed it somehow. Again, new algebra dot operations.
See here, yeah. Arithmetic constructor. When you create an object, it will call and print this
Basic operators
basic
in
operation
mathematics.
mathematics.
Hmm.
And here it has an abstract method.
Hmm.
So whenever you say an abstract method, check
Hmm.
whether the class is abstract class. Is this class abstract? No. So as this class is not declared as abstract, this will give error.
Error.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So
And
this is how we have
identifies
to
because
change.
arithmetic is not abstract. Yeah.
I was going through the entire code.
Yeah. And
Okay, and then the ninth one, I guess.
9.
This one.
Okay. So here again, abstract class IPL
Hmm. Hmm.
has abstract method. Okay, fine.
So it's totally
So go
fine.
line by line, see whether
Hmm.
just think yourself as compiler and remember
Okay.
all the rules. Then read it. Okay. So
Uh-huh.
okay, this is fine. Now public class CSK
Totally.
extends IPL. Can we
It
extend
will
abstract
extend. Okay,
class?
at that
Fine.
point also I
Yeah.
understand.
Here public void team, we are overriding the abstract method. That is also fine.
Hmm. Okay.
Now next class, public class SRH extends again IPL, and here again overriding team.
As far as void is being used, and it is overridden also.
Yeah, fine. Till now it's fine. Now
Hmm.
class player creating object of IPL, reference variable of type IPL. Okay,
Okay,
that
so
is allowed.
IPL is the object of data, means of
Sorry,
type
IPL is the
IPL.
reference variable of type IPL.
Okay.
Small IPL is the reference variable of type capital IPL class.
Okay.
Name variable,
Hmm. Hmm.
then our constructor.
Hmm.
Now here we have
Team.
a team, a method team,
Hmm.
and calling team method here. Okay,
Hmm.
so now this is not a problem because class player and
Hmm.
others doesn't have any correlation, right? They are all independent, even though
Players.
team is same here.
Team is defined. Team is
Yeah,
defined. It is overridden also.
yeah, this is different. This is a different team method.
Okay.
Yeah. Now
But
calling team with
one thing, ma'am. Player, can you move to the player? It's like class player. I think it was abstract, right? So then a team should be defined.
sorry.
Okay, this is a separate class player.
Yes, yes. This is a separate class player. This
Okay,
doesn't
okay,
have any
then it's
relation
separate.
with
Then it's
abstract
totally
class.
separate.
Yeah,
Then it's totally separate.
yeah. Now in class example, our main
Hmm.
method, I'm creating object of player,
Hmm.
and here new player, and we are giving new object. Object is CSK for
Hmm.
IPL. So this IPL will be initialized with the object CSK.
Hmm. Hmm.
So IPL will point to an object of CSK, and
Hmm.
the value of name is Ravi Jadeja.
Okay.
Now player one dot team will
Hmm.
call team method.
Hmm.
So IPL dot team of name. Team
Hmm.
of name is Ravi Jadeja, right?
Hmm.
So then we'll go here. So we'll print out what? Tell.
Ravi Jadeja is CSK team or something like that.
Yes, that's fine. Next, we'll create player 2.
Manish
Create,
Pandey uh, is SRH. I think from is missing in that.
yeah,
Okay. So it will not throw error.
it will not throw error. It will print.
Ma'am, can you again repeat how this player class is working with that?
Yeah, okay. So, new player, creating object of player class, okay. And here we have a nested object. IPL is itself is a class. And when you give new CSK here, okay, now this dot IPL, this particular variable IPL is pointing to an object of CSK. And what does this CSK has? CSK has just this method, okay. And name will have the value Ravi Jadeja, okay. And
Okay.
then we are calling IPL dot team. So what is IPL? We had an object of CSK, which means CSK's object dot team, passing this particular name initialized with Ravi Jadeja. So we get Ravi Jadeja is a CSK team.
Oh, okay, got it, ma'am.
Yeah,
So means I have to just give a little bit of time to
yeah,
understand that.
right. Yeah, you have to relate everything from where it is going and all, and the concept of reference variable and object. Clear, everyone?
Ma'am, so it will call the team of CSK since we have given it as input, right?
Yeah, because we created object of CSK, we will call the team of CSK.
Okay, ma'am, got it.
Yeah. Similarly, for the next one we created object of SRH, so we'll call team of SRH because IPL dot team of whatever name that became.
Okay, so it will not throw actually an error. I actually clicked on it will compiler will throw an error.
No.
Okay, understood. Now understood. Means at that time I was not understanding these abstract classes and interfaces. Something
Yeah.
new.
Mm. Yeah, it takes some more time to understand all the rules of abstract class interface. You'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Rest all I can do, no problem.
Okay. What about others? All fine?
Not, ma'am, not even started, so can't say anything.
Okay.
Interface, I tried doing some when this was released. I think it was released 2 days back, right?
Yeah. Friday only got released, right? Yeah.
Okay. So these are okay, ma'am.
Yeah,
These I
these
can
are
do.
simple
Again,
items.
this compile time error and all
Mm-mm.
those. I thought that answer is the output of the program is 41 degree.
Okay, so why it gave compile time error? So public interface A, get coordinates. Okay, interface B, tell direction. Okay, fine. Abstract methods. And here, class C implements A,
Ma'am,
comma B.
how the ever okay user interface? That's why they are abstract.
Those are, yeah, right. Yeah, you're asking about this, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, by default they are public and abstract, right? So that's fine.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Now here we gave implementation for get coordinates
Overriding the methods, we are
method.
doing that.
Tell direction also we overridden, but
Hmm.
here what happened? Here something happened. New b dot tell direction. So we
Hmm.
created object of b.
Interface B.
Yeah,
We
but
should create that for C, na?
yes. New c dot tell direction wouldn't be given any error, but now
Oh,
we tried new with the b which is
mhm.
interface. Yeah.
Okay. I think more of them are there. Yes, these all codes.
Yeah.
Better I should try again and then ask because then it will be much more
Yeah. Oh
useful.
yeah. This one you remember. What is marker
What?
interface? We have not seen this.
So it is not. I have not seen that,
Yeah.
but it is. It does not contains any method in its body.
Right. Marker
When I
interface
checked
means
online, it
interface.
was.
Okay. Interface which doesn't have any methods, and there is something called functional interface that has exactly
Mhm.
one abstract method. Keep in mind, okay? We'll come to this later.
Functional
Interface.
interface.
Mm. One abstract
Ma'am,
method. Yeah.
Syllabus for quiz 1 is week 1 to
1 to 4.
okay, 1 to 4, and these type of questions will only be
Of
coming.
course, yeah. Practice previous year questions.
Calculation based something.
Not much of calculation. We avoid calculation. Mostly conceptual.
Okay, like they will be sometimes super will not be given, or sometimes it
Yeah.
might be that just simple
Abstract
means
keyword won't
we
be
have
given.
to, like for this year, public interface B, then int B. So means we can't directly go there, right? Because there is an abstract class. So we have to make sure that if there is a method in that, then we have to define it, and it would not be defined, then we might have
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah.
Okay, something like that we have
Yeah.
to
You
do.
won't get that factorial Fibonacci kind of thing. Mostly
Okay.
it will be conceptual.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah.
That's it. Huh? That's it. I think for the later after I think the public interface, that the third lecture, all the activity have only one questions. Is that an issue? Means like,
Uh,
was there only one question? Not this one.
I think.
In controlled interaction with objects and all those, only one question is there, at least for me.
Yeah.
This is for
This one
activity
is
3.
activity 3. Yeah.
It's
Not loaded yet.
it's 4.4, and this is activity 4.3. So callbacks and all those we will cover means in our next session, right?
Yeah. Callbacks I'll cover in the next session. Yeah.
You will be covering.
Yeah. Saturday probably I'll be covering. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So session over, no?
Yeah. Over. We can
Okay.
end because if I take something, it won't get over.
Okay.
Thank you everyone. Hope you understood. If you have more doubts, post in the discourse in the same thread where we asked for doubts. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.